Loki has finally been free from his chains. The aura of the cursed Prince Loki is truly terrifying. Even Drunken and his crew were extremely frightened when Loki was about to wield his hammer weapon, Ragnir. Luffy could only stare in shock upon seeing it. A new mystery also emerges in One Piece chapter 1141. The massive Adam's treasure tree was once burned by a lightning strike. How powerful must the lightning have been to burn such a colossal tree? Who could have done it? Intriguing, isn't it? Hey, SuperSynth Studio here. The latest One Piece chapter, 1141, begins with Road and Nami bringing the castle's giant guards back to the village using Svalor, the mist ship. Nami grumbles and shouts in frustration after spending the entire day searching for treasure in the massive castle, only to come up empty-handed. She's also annoyed because she doesn't really care about Loki. All she cares about is the large diamond. Road tries to calm her down, worried that the guards might hear her shouting. And sure enough, the giant guards are shocked to find out that Road and Luffy's group have already explored Aura's castle, and they wonder what Nami meant about Loki and the diamond. Road tells the giant guards to stay lying down and not to worry about Nami's words. Road again asks Nami to lower her voice, but Nami just keeps shouting in frustration about not finding any treasure. The scene then shifts to Frankie and Ripley, who are at the Adam's treasure tree. Frankie and Ripley are still exploring the Adam tree. Frankie is amazed, feeling there's much more to see than he imagined. Ripley explains that the giants have lived on the branches of this tree for generations, giving each branch its own history. Suddenly, Frankie spots a large branch of the Adam tree that has been cut off but is still partially attached to the main trunk. Whoa, what's that? Frankie asks. Ripley replies, there used to be a village called Haugen on that branch. One day, lightning struck and burned the entire village. The problem is, these old branches, once they catch fire, the flames won't go out. To prevent the fire from spreading to other parts, we had to cut down the entire branch along with the village on it. Frankie responds, that must have been a tough decision. The Adam tree is legendary, but when it gets old, things like this are unavoidable. Ripley adds, you could say that lightning and fire are Elbaf's only weaknesses. Interesting. How powerful must the lightning have been to burn such a massive branch of the Adam tree? Even in the panel, Frankie looks like an ant standing on a tree trunk. The Adam's treasure tree tower is so high that it pierces the clouds, and its atmosphere is so unique that it creates a sky island like the one in Skypiea. Yes, you're right. At the very top of the Adam's treasure tree lies a sky island that has now been destroyed. Burka was Enel's homeland. It's said that Enel destroyed Burka. We've already seen the power of Enel's Rago when it nearly destroyed Skypiea, right? Yes, the burning of the Adam tree branch was caused by Enel's Rago lightning strike, which he used to destroy Burka. Will Enel return and join the final war in One Piece? The scene then shifts back to the western village of Elbaf. Nami has returned to the party and is chatting with a drunk Usopp. Usopp says, Hick tilde Nami, where did you go? And I haven't seen Luffy and Zoro anywhere. Nami replies, I don't know. Maybe they're exploring. Oh, that's great, Usopp slurs. Jirul arrives at the table where Nami and Usopp are sitting. Usopp immediately greets Jirul. Hey Jirul, look, our genius navigator is here. How beautiful, Jirul says. Usopp responds, ah, you dirty old man. What's your type? Anyway, Jirul answers without hesitation. Bahaja, my type. An older woman. Hearing this, Usopp jumps up and hits Jirul's head with a sword, causing Jirul immense pain. There's no way someone like that exists. You're the oldest person in the whole world. Dahaha. Usopp laughs. Jirul cries in pain. Elder Jirul. The giants shout. Dory asks Usopp not to touch the sword stuck in Jirul's head. Usopp, heavily drunk, scolds Dory and shouts about who could pull the Excalibur sword out of Jirul's head. Bragi, laughing, says not to do it, or Jirul might bleed to death. Brook comments on Usopp's crazy behavior due to being heavily drunk, while Nami comments on Brook, who was just as drunk as Usopp. Nami sits next to Jin and watches Usopp's drunken antics. She smiles and says it was Usopp and Luffy's dream to come to Elbaf. Meanwhile, Sanji notices that Garrett isn't at the party, so he starts looking for her. The scene then shifts to Road, who brings the giant guards so Garrett can treat them. Garrett is shocked because one of their bones is broken, and there are stab wounds on their bodies. Garrett is certain that ordinary humans couldn't have done this to the giant guards, as they are strong giants. Garrett tries to ask what happened, but Road tries to hide the truth from her. Road claims he went to Horus Castle to conduct research for the development of his Lego castle block. He says he found the front door of the castle open and discovered the giant guards in this condition. Garrett notices Road sweating profusely and asks if he's feeling hot. Road says it's because Garrett keeps staring at him intensely. Garrett then tries to ask the giant guards for the actual chronology, but Road stops her, saying they must need rest. Garrett then says she wants to report this incident to Elder Jarul, but Road stops her again, saying it would disrupt the party. Before Garrett finds out the truth, she shouldn't do it, as no one likes a party pooper, Road concludes. Garrett falls silent and ponders something, while Road secretly hopes that if Luffy's actions of freeing Loki are discovered when he returns to the party, no one will think he conspired with Luffy. Road also hopes that after being freed, Loki will leave Elbaf and wreak havoc elsewhere. Additionally, Road is worried about someone who is said to resemble Akagami. Suddenly, Garrett attacks Road from behind with her axe. She's certain Road knows something and demands he tell her immediately. The scene then shifts to Luffy and Zoro, who are in the underworld and find Loki in a near-death state. Zoro asks Luffy why the situation is so different from what he described. Luffy is also confused because when he met Loki, he was fine. Zoro also questions the injured animals around Loki and wonders who could have done all this. Luffy tries to break the chains, but they are made of sea stone, so he becomes weak upon touching them. Zoro and Luffy argue. Zoro says it's not yet time to release Loki. He needs to talk to Loki first to determine what kind of person he is. Moreover, Zoro notices that Loki is as tall as oars. This means the blood of the ancient giants flows dominantly in Loki's veins, making him the largest giant currently. Zoro walks over to Loki and kicks his wound, causing Loki to scream in pain. Okay, so the wound isn't fate, Zoro says. He's almost dead, Luffy shouts. If he dies, then that's just his fate, Zoro adds. Wow, you're so mean, Luffy responds. Zoro then agrees to release the chains but leaves one shackle on Loki's ankle. Luffy says he'll go get Chopper, but since the Owl Library is too far, they'll have to call the village doctor instead. Zoro reminds Luffy about the giants warning that freeing Loki is a grave crime, and they will surely be banished from Elbaf. Luffy says he doesn't care. He'll call the village doctor. Luffy also says they need to get meat because no one can recover without eating. Zoro looks at the defeated animals near Loki. There's plenty of meat lying around, Zoro says. Luffy gets upset and says, "Don't ever say that again. They're my friends. I'll go hunt something in the mountains." "Meat is still meat," Zoro replies. Luffy gets even angrier. "You wouldn't eat your own friends, would you?" Alright, my bad," Zoro concludes. As Luffy is about to head to the village, he hears something coming from the sky. Luffy and Zoro see Hadruden and his crew along with Sanji falling in Svalor. Hadruden heard everything from Road and rushed down to stop Luffy and Zoro. But because they were in a hurry, Hadruden's crew didn't use the usual lift and instead rode Svalor. Svalor ends up crashing because there are no sky islands in the underworld. In an amazing double-page spread, Luffy uses Gomu Gomu no Fusion to save them all. Luffy's body inflates massively to stop Svalor. Hadruden cries tears of joy upon seeing Luffy, but Svalor bounces so hard that they all except Garrett and Sanji fly away again. Hadruden and his crew manage to meet Luffy again, but they are badly injured. They thank Luffy for his help, as falling from that height would have meant instant death. Hadruden then pleads with Luffy not to release Loki. Hadruden says, "Please, Mugiwara, reconsider your decision to free Loki. Don't trust Loki. He's cunning and cruel. He's evil, a pitiless villain. We've known him since he was a mischievous child. If he says something pleasant to you ... it's definitely a wicked plan. He is a wicked man who casually kills someone he called a friend yesterday. He is an enemy of the world." Zoro says, "A bit late for the ... Hadruden shouts. In the final epic double-page spread of this chapter, Loki has awakened, though he still wears a shackle on his left ankle. Loki stands before Luffy, looking furious, though his face is still shadowed. Loki is enormous, making Luffy look like an ant in comparison. The new giant warrior pirates are stunned. "That's Loki," Hadruden and his crew shout. "What? He was supposed to be unconscious," Luffy exclaims. Hadruden stares at him with extreme caution, while Loki grabs his weapon with an evil grin on his face. Hadruden shouts, "Stop, Loki, stay away from Ragnir." In kanji, it means Iron Thunder. Loki truly possesses insane power. Imagine, even in a near-death state, Loki can stand and prepare to wield his weapon. Loki aims to destroy the world for some reason. He must have his own motives for wanting to do so. Plus, he deeply hates the world government and calls them trash. Luffy and Zoro even trusted Loki enough to remove his shackles. Is this a sign that Loki will eventually join Luffy to destroy the world government? Intriguing. The mural on the Adam's treasure tree also shows that one of Nika's allies is the ancient giant. Currently, the ancient giants are extinct, and Loki is the only one with ancient giant blood in his veins.